Hey y'all, today we're gonna get into it and let's talk about it. Here's the brutal truth about social media management. And this is my personal journey and why I moved on as a virtual assistant, why I stopped offering social media management services as a VA. And so, listen, in the previous video, I talked about tasks to outsource to a VA, right? I gave you all of the list, all of the things, right? And one of those tasks were social media management. And I gave some tips on what you as a business owner need to have in place before outsourcing social media management, okay? And so before I started my VA agency, I would do social media management for individuals. And I actually loved it, y'all. It was simple, as I already thought I couldn't, I was I thought I was an official graphic designer in Canva. Nobody can tell me otherwise to this day. And so I love designing the content in Canva. I love creating the graphics. I love doing the hashtag research, the scheduling, all of the things that a lot of social media managers do. A lot of them don't do. And I loved also engaging with the people on social media. But I realized that because I worked with individuals who had a vision for their social media pages and their business, and they knew what their goals were and would listen to the strategy offered, that's why I loved it so much. So when I first launched my business, I was offering social media management as a service because it was one of those services and those things that I really enjoyed doing. I was good at it, and so many people also needed social media management services. And it didn't take long. It didn't take long for me to develop a love-hate relationship with it. So I got rid of it ASAP. I'm telling you, I got done. And here's why. Here are 5 lessons that I learned as a social media management VA. I'll start off with the lessons I learned about myself, okay? And then I'll get into what I learned about others or clients or business owners in general, right? And the first thing I learned about myself was that many beginner VAs could probably relate to this too. I learned that I lacked confidence. As a new CEO, as a new independent contractor, I didn't have a lot of confidence that I thought I should have. And because I lacked the confidence in my abilities, not necessarily my skills, number 2 is I wasn't able to obtain the clients because I never had to do it before. I didn't charge my worth, right? And so I was charging for less for a service that produced results, right? For number 3, I also didn't know about like the market research. So I didn't see what other social media managers were charging and what tasks they were offering. So I was doing it all. I was doing the whole 9, y'all. Everything. I'm telling you, everything. Number 4, I learned that the business owners who would reach out to me, even though they really did need the services, they were making money and all of the things, but they weren't really clear on their target audience, right? They weren't clear on their messaging or their goals in their business. So I had little to work with. And I was responsible, like I told you, I was doing the whole 9. I was responsible for the content creation, the captions, the scheduling, the management, the strategy, all the things, but I didn't have any of the things I needed. Number 5, I also learned that so many business owners wanted social media management services, but they didn't want to pay for the value being given or the time required to actually manage all the things, right? And so for someone operating as a full social media manager, offering daily posts, right? I was doing that. I was doing caption writing. I was doing the SEO research to understand how to get you in front of your audience. I was doing the content designing, the scheduling, the engagement. I was charging less than $700, y'all. And nobody should be doing that. Matter of fact, if I ever offered that service again, my prices, y'all, would probably start at $1,500 minimum. And I would still put a cap on the number of posts per month that I would offer. And so another thing I would change if I had to start offering services, or if I desired to, I would change my screening process. I realized I didn't have a proper screening process. And over time, I learned how to set up a screening questionnaire for clients who want to work with me. for any service I offer. And so now I ask, which services are you interested in? What's your budget? And I let them know, among other questions I ask, I also let them know, like, for me, this service begins at this. Are you ready to make that type of investment in your business at this time? And so if you're specifically looking for someone to do social media management, specifically the scheduling of the content or the engagement across your omni-channels, your platforms, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of the things, we do offer that as a special project, but you would just have to book your call with us and let us know what you're thinking about. We don't do the whole 9 anymore, but if you are interested, you can book a discovery call with me on my website. And we can hop on a call to discuss like what your goals are, who's your target audience, what your needs are, and I will send you a proposal over and let you know exactly how we can support you. Also, y'all, just another tip. A true social media manager will never promise you results. They will never promise you, I won't say never, but for social media management, it's hard to guarantee that you're going to receive the results. Why? This isn't our business, right? We don't create the target audience. We don't create the product or the service that you provide. And so for me, if you have 1,500 followers on Instagram, but they're made up of your friends and families, people who you've known forever, and you decide to turn your personal page into your business page, because people do that, okay? I can't guarantee that your family members and your friends for a long period of time are going to want to invest in a product for skincare that you just decided to start selling, right? And so you're like, well, my page isn't growing and my followers aren't engaging with the content you're creating, but they're not your target audience. And so I think for social media management as business owners, we have to get clearer on what we're doing it, why we're doing it, and who we're doing it for. What problem are you the solution for? What answers or what questions do you have the answers to, right? How can you get people transformation? How can you help people do something different than they have been doing? And so we have to ask ourselves, the target audience, is my message clear? Am I clear about what my messaging is? I remember I worked for someone and I was doing social media management, and I was like, okay, you gotta get, because literally I had nothing to work with. It was like, okay, you can come up with the content, just make it about this broad topic, right? And I was like, okay. And so I'm putting all this stuff together, and I'm just like, at this time, Reels was popping off. And I'm like, man, I need you to create some Reels. You know, people want to see your face, because I realized that the content that got the most comments and engagement were the ones with pictures of herself or videos of herself. But like the stagnant quote posts and all of those things, they weren't getting too much of anything. Even the informational ones, I was like, people want to see you, girl. You got to do these Reels. And it was like the hardest thing to get Reels from this client. And so, you know, the page wasn't growing. She wasn't getting the results that she desired. And I remember like, okay, who's your target audience? And I remember this client was like, everybody. And I'm just like, okay, it's kind of hard like to work with everybody, right? And so, and if everybody's your client, then your stuff should naturally be growing, especially if you got 10K followers, or even if you got 2K followers. If everybody is your client, you should be seeing some kind of results. And so we have to get more clear about our target audience, more clear about our messaging, what problems we're solving. And even if we have a broad industry that we're in, we have to, and I'm not a fan of saying like, oh, niche down to one thing, right? I don't believe that's the case for everybody, but in some cases, when your industry is a very broad industry, you have to kind of be selective on what you want to focus on right now, right? You may want to niche down right now for a moment or for a campaign so that you can get the results that you've been desiring. So that's my spiel. That's the truth about why I stopped doing social media management as a VA and why I stopped offering that as a service, because I realized not only there were things that I needed to change about my own mindset, there were things I needed to change about my value as a professional service industry, person, something that I needed to change about my own business, right? But there were so many other things that I also learned about working with people as a new CEO, working with business owners who had just started, who were, 1 year in the game, people who were 5 years in the game and 10 years in the game. Like, everyone was different, and I realized, like, in order for me to offer this service, we got to have all of these different things in place. So if that's you, if you're a business owner, I advise you to get your business in order, get clear on all of the things that you do and offer. And if you're a VA who's been lowballing yourself, I encourage you to charge what you're worth, and consider putting that screening questionnaire or that screener in place so that you're working with the clients who you want to work with. You're working with the people who are willing to pay you for the value that you deliver, and for the transformation that you can give. And so that's my 2 cents, and that's my brutal truth, and I am sticking with it. So hope to see y'all in the next video.